Lobbying, the practice of seeking to influence government decisions, has a long and complex history that dates back centuries. What began as informal interactions between individuals and policymakers has evolved into a sophisticated and often controversial industry. Lobbying has played a significant role in shaping policies, laws, and regulations, but it has also raised questions about ethics, transparency, and the balance of power. The history of lobbying offers valuable insights into the relationship between democracy, governance, and special interests. Early forms of influence. The concept of lobbying can be traced back to ancient civilizations, where influential individuals and groups would engage with rulers and decision-makers to advocate for their interests. In ancient Rome, for example, wealthy citizens would approach senators to promote their causes. Birth of modern lobbying. The term lobbying itself originated from the practice of early American politicians and interest groups congregating in the lobbies outside legislative chambers to discuss and influence pending legislation. During the 19th century, lobbying gained prominence as interest groups, corporations, and associations began to establish formal lobbying efforts to advance their agendas. Industrialization and corporate influence. The rise of industrialization in the late 19th and early 20th centuries led to a surge in corporate lobbying. Large businesses sought to protect their interests and shape regulations that would benefit them. The emergence of powerful corporate lobbyists raised concerns about undue influence over lawmakers. Regulation and reform. As lobbying became more prevalent, concerns about transparency and corruption prompted efforts to regulate the practice. In the United States, lobbying disclosure laws were enacted in the early 20th century to bring greater transparency to lobbying activities. Similar regulatory efforts took place in other countries as well. Modern lobbying industry. The latter half of the 20th century saw the professionalization and expansion of the lobbying industry. Lobbying firms, consultants, and associations with specialized expertise emerged, offering their services to a wide range of clients, including corporations, non-profits, and foreign governments. Ethical challenges and public perception. The history of lobbying is also intertwined with ethical challenges and controversies. Critics argue that excessive lobbying by well-funded interests can undermine the democratic process, lead to unequal representation, and create a perception of government favoritism. Digital age and new frontiers. Advances in technology have transformed the lobbying landscape. Online platforms, social media, and digital campaigns have provided new avenues for interest groups to mobilize and engage with policymakers and the public. The history of lobbying reflects the evolving dynamics between government, special interests, and civil society. While lobbying has played a role in advocating for important causes and shaping policy outcomes, it has also raised important questions about accountability, transparency, and the potential for undue influence. As societies continue to grapple with the challenges of governance and representation, the practice of lobbying remains a complex and debated aspect of modern democratic systems.